afternoon, everybody. I'm Paula Ludwig with the Atlantic Institute. This is our Cuisine of Different Cultures program. Um, the Atlantic Institute is about promoting dialogue between different cultures, faiths, religions, getting to know your next door neighbor, learning about other cultures, and we're hoping with that that you'll understand more. And our vision is of a peaceful world. So I am going to show you a 2-minute video about our organization, and then I'm going to turn it over to Eamon, who this is his 4th time making something for us, and I'll let him explain that. So, oh no. Wait. Sorry, I gotta do this right or it won't give you the sound. There we go.
The Atlantic Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting harmonious coexistence between peoples of various cultures, faiths, and backgrounds. We seek this goal through peaceful dialogue, education initiatives, and community organization. Our dialogue events bring together experts, community and faith leaders, and knowledge seekers to address social issues that affect us all. We feel dialogue is the most important element in peaceful coexistence, so we try and maintain several panel discussions, TED Talk events, and book clubs throughout the year. These events touch on social issues, race relations, and cultural understanding and are a mainstay of our programming. The Atlantic Institute's education events are extremely important to our mission of understanding. We want to promote socially forward critical thinking to students of all ages. To that end, we have developed programs that seek to grow the creative spirit of students and help them think about their communities and the world around them. Our Future Leaders of Dialogue event brings together nominated elite students to learn from each other as well as political and business leaders. Our art and essay contest gives students a theme about important societal issues and allows them to create wonderful works of art and writing while steering their minds towards improving their world. We are always seeking ways to educate youths and adults in order to make a peaceful world for all of us. Our community events are designed to transform neighbors into friends and groups of people into a community. By associating with other nonprofits or by our own initiative, we are always trying to discover new avenues to improve our neighborhoods, places of worship, and community centers. We host cooking demonstrations of food from other cultures, work with various nonprofits to help elevate the work of others, and try to find a way to make the lives of those who are disenfranchised or marginalized better. Building a more peaceful world starts in our backyards, so we are dedicated to improving our communities and associations. The Atlantic Institute is always seeking like-minded volunteers and collaborators. If you would like to learn more, find volunteer opportunities, or just want to chat with our staff, please visit our website at www.atlanticinstitutesc.org or follow us on Facebook. We will never run out of fun, educational, peaceful events, so come join us to help make this world a better place full of understanding and unity.
All right. So with that being said, not only are we always looking for volunteers, but right now we are in the process of looking for another event planner, coordinator in the Pacific time zone in the US right now. Eventually, we are going to find planners outside of the US. We're going to go globally, maybe later next year. But right now, we are looking for somebody in the specific time zone. So if you know of anybody interested or you yourself are interested, you can message me privately in the chat your personal email address, and I will send the information to them. Make sure you say that you're interested in the position. All right, I am now going to turn this over to our instructor for the day, Eamon, and I want to thank everybody for coming.
Hello, my name is Eamon. I will be making a baked Alaska for you all today. Basically, if you don't know what it is basically just ice cream on top of cake and then like slathered in meringue. It's very good. This is my assistant for today, Ryan. I'm currently in my college kitchen, so like yeah. But I guess I'll just get started. So first, you're gonna get a mixing bowl, and you're just gonna spray it with cooking spray. I'm gonna move the computer over here. All right, so cooking spray, you just spray it all over. Make sure to get it real good. Next, you're going to get plastic wrap, and you're going to get a very large piece. And you're just gonna put it in the bowl. Uh, Maybe kind of difficult because plastic wrap's pretty sticky, but you got to press it very close up to the sides of the bowl. Try to have like a little bit of overlap coming over the sides there. Now you're going to get another piece and do it perpendicular to the first piece, so you get all of the bowl covered. And again, just try to get it as close and flat up against the bowl as possible. Also, right now I'm using like a glass or Pyrex bowl. I personally recommend using a metal bowl because when you put it in the freezer, it's going to stay colder longer. But this is all I have available to me at the moment because my metal bowl is currently being used to hold the baked Alaska I made beforehand. So it's going to look like this, plastic wrap completely covering the inside of the bowl. All right, now that we have that, we're going to immediately get started with the ice cream. And so I'm going to be moving very quickly for this part so I can put it back in the freezer as fast as possible and so it doesn't melt. And we're going to be using uh, vanilla chocolate ice cream as well as raspberry sherbet. It doesn't really matter what flavors you use; it's really up to you. But this is what like is traditionally used with the recipe. And to be specific, we're going to be using a pint of each. But you're actually going to need a quart of the chocolate because we're going to be using it again later. But for this part, just a pint of each. You're just going to get your ice cream scoop and you're just going to interchange between three different flavors. One scoop at a time and just plop it down in there. So hopefully in the end, you're going to get a very nice looking mosaic pattern when you cut into it. And ideally, you're supposed to use like different sized scoops. but you're gonna get the same pattern no matter how big or small the scoops are. So it's gonna look like this. And then once you have all the ice cream in, hold on, let me just throw these containers away. All right, you're going to get another very large piece of plastic wrap. And you're going to use the plastic wrap. You're going to put it on top of the ice cream, and you're just going to push down to flatten it all out. It's got to be completely level. You can just use your hands. But it's very important that it's completely level. If you have any questions throughout this process, be sure to.
Marty's asking a question.
Oh, yeah.
Is it because it has to sit flush on top of the cake later?
Yes, it does. That is correct. I was just about to say, if you have a question, please ask it. Thank you for being the first. Because in the end, we're going to be turning this out onto like a baking sheet. So right now it's technically like upside down. Kind of making it in reverse. Once it's all flat, you take that layer of plastic wrap off, just throw it away. Look at that. Beautiful. Next. Again, Ziploc bags. I forgot a Ziploc bag. My roommate is going to go get one for my room. But I'll go over what we're going to do next. You get chocolate wafers, about half the pack. You put them in a Ziploc bag and you crush them, but not too much because else you'll lose the crunch factor. So you crunch the wafers and you just pour it on top of the ice cream, and then you press it flat again. That's pretty much it. Gotta wait until I get the Ziploc. Sure, I'll put it in the freezer.
Eamon, what made you decide to do a bake to Alaska for us?
I'd never done it before, and it sounded good and also kind of like difficult, but it was easier than I expected. Still really good though. Yeah, I mean, you can crush them up however you want, just as long as you know. I mean, that's really up to you. Just like get as much as you can on the ice cream. 'Cause, I mean, if you use something else, I mean, there's a chance of like if it's spilling on the counter or something. So I am very good at making it.
So what kind of cake are we going to put on top of it?
It is going to be a pound cake. I have a pre-made one here. You can make your own, but I mean, it's just easier for me to have the pre-made one. And it's going to be a pound cake because it's more stable. It's denser. The cake will not be crumbled up. Thank you. It will be cut into slices and like layered on top at the very end. All right, so Ziploc bag. We're just gonna put a few in at a time. You can expect one on Thursday if you get me the ingredients. Yeah, it is very hard to cut when it's frozen, even if it's just pound cake. Uh, I think you're supposed to let it thaw a little bit before serving it, because and it won't. There's really no chance of it melting because meringue is actually a very good insulator. Interestingly enough, and make sure to get all the air out of the bag before you crush them up.
Is that your scientific way of crushing?
It sure is. Looks pretty good, pretty crushed up. Not too much though. And then you just pour it on top of the ice cream. And then the rest of the wafers.
So Wendy asks, I missed the wafers. Can you please go to the packaging again?
Sure. It doesn't really matter which wafers you have. They're this specifically it's chocolate wafers, but you can again you can use any flavor you want.
Will it taste like vanilla? Like vanilla wafers?
Yeah, I mean it'll have different flavors based on the flavor that you use. But uh yeah, these are pretty standard wafers, wafer cookies. I don't think I got all the air out of the bag yet.
I want to know how many wafers.
So in the recipe it says approximately 17. It's a really odd number, but that's what it says. Oh, let's split the bag.
They want to know what the weight is on the package, the size of the wafers.
It says 10.6 ounces or 300 grams.
All right.
All right, so now we've got it on top. You're just gonna spread it out so it's all nice and even on top of the ice cream. You're gonna,
So about 150 grams for the recipe then, roughly.
yeah, about. And again, you're just gonna try and like kind of press it down into the ice cream. because you want it to stick together when you turn it out. The first one I made, this layers came out separately. That's not great. All right. Next, this part's kind of difficult. We're gonna take the chocolate ice cream back out again. The other pint. And we're gonna all right. Give me a second to wash the or dry the ice cream scoop again. This is the last time we're gonna be using ice cream too. I did not dip it in the wafers. I'm very aware of where my hair is. So you're just gonna take the other pint of the chocolate ice cream on top of the wafers. Uh, I mean, you can if you want to, but if you're moving fast enough, you should be fine. That's another thing though. If you're using a metal bowl, you should probably put it in the freezer beforehand just to like pre-chill the bowl. All right, more saran wrap. All right. And this reason this one's a bit harder is because you don't, I mean, you're gonna be kind of, you don't want to, but you're gonna end up kind of shifting the wafers around where you don't want them to be. Uh, it's unfortunate, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna put a little more on. And this bowl is smaller than the one I usually use, so I may not be able to get it all the way spread out, but I have another one I'm going to use later that's like perfectly spread. So yeah, this one isn't going to be the best. Anyway, once you have it all spread out, just throw the plastic wrap again. Uh, so now that we have the chocolate ice cream done, after this, we're going to use the cake. All right, so pound cake, butter pound cake, with like a regular flavored pound cake. But again, if you want to use a different flavor, that's perfectly fine. So we're going to take the pound cake. We're going to cut it into about like half-inch roll. Yeah, I'd say about half-inch slices. Take the wrapper off too. Very important step. So about like this thick. And you're just gonna put it down on top of the chocolate ice cream. And you're gonna keep doing that until it's completely covered. So push it right up against the edges. And then once you start getting to the point where either a whole slice won't fit, just like cut pieces of it out like I'm doing now. Perfect fit. And then just fill the rest in with like smaller pieces. You gotta like cover the entire top of the chocolate ice cream there.
So someone asks, oh, so are you looking into sharing this with other people in the residence hall? Or is
Uh,
it just for you?
I will share. I am a member of the Residence Hall Association, and I've told my fellow members that I will have another baked Alaska, so they will probably be getting some. Yes, this is the third one I'm making right now. I made one earlier as a practice, and then of course the TV Magic one that's currently in the freezer. I mean, maybe. And just like fill in any and all cracks with like crumbs if you have to. I'm just gonna start breaking pieces off. The oh, oops. And if it's some left over, feel free to eat it. So that's pretty much what it's gonna look like. Uh, once you have all the pound cake on top, you're gonna take some aluminum foil. And you're just gonna put it over top. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, between the time that you put the wafers on and you put the other layer of chocolate cake on, you're supposed to put it in the freezer for 30 minutes to chill. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. Yeah, you can make your own pound cake if you want. I don't know about baking one the same width as the bowl because you may not have a pan the exact same size. So you're probably just gonna have to slice it up in the end anyway. And yes, I totally did this for continuity, not because I forgot.
You weren't planning on having 30 minutes on three, right? Totally not fine.
Of course, yeah. So now that's covered, you're going to put it in the freezer. So that's going to sit in the freezer for a minimum of 2 hours. I put the other one. Yeah, I put the other one in last night, so it's been sitting overnight. My sous chef Ryan is going to get that one now from our dorm. And the meringue is the next step after it's done chilling overnight. It needs to sit a minimum of 2 hours, ideally overnight. And the meringue is also very easy. Yeah, it has a freezer. It has like the mini fridge on the bottom and the freezer part on top, and then the microwave on top of that.
So were you worried about the safety of your baked Alaska in the main kitchen freezer last night, or there just wasn't room?
Just to have it nearby.
Oh,
But the last time I made the baked Alaska, I also put a sticky note on it that said don't.
oh, you're breaking up. Or
The
talk
first-
closer to your mic.
The first time I made the baked Alaska, I put a sticky note on it that just said don't, and
Ugh.
that's in the communal freezer over there.
Oh,
It works
Just-
pretty well.
I think you're not very close to your mic.
I mean, I'm like, my mom was like, everything's the computer.
Hmm. Is Ryan walking up all 5 flights of stairs?
He's probably taking the elevator.
Do we have to wait for it before we start on the meringue?
No. So another mixing bowl. And the meringue is very simple. All you need are 6 eggs, a pinch of cream of tartar, and a cup of sugar. All right. 6 eggs. You only need the egg whites. You do not need the yolks. How do you separate the eggs? I'm about to show you. So you crack the egg, but you have to be careful to like split it pretty like evenly in half, so you have 2 even halves of the eggshell. And you're going to leave the yolk in the eggshell so the egg white kind of drops down. And you're just going to pass it between the 2 halves of the eggshell, like I'm doing now. You're going to keep passing it back and forth until all the egg white is separated from the egg yolk. And yeah, I don't really have much use for the egg yolk. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to just throw them away because there's nothing else, nowhere else to put them. I'll show you again how to separate them because I mean, I'm going to be separating 6 eggs. So just like keep watching, I suppose. Uh, okay, this one, the shell is kind of dissolving. Oops. It's okay if you uh don't have another other half of eggshell. You can just like kind of move it around the eggshell you do have until like the egg white kind of like falls over the edge. The little white piece, I mean, you can. It doesn't really matter. I'm not sure what it actually is, but it doesn't affect it any like it won't affect the recipe. Just as long as you don't have any of the yolk in there. Yeah, you can do it over a different bowl and just pour the egg whites into the bigger bowl. But it's faster to do it this way, I suppose. What does incorporating olive oil do?
He was saying up above that you can make mayonnaise out of the egg yolks. You just
Okay.
incorporate olive oil.
Well, I'm not really a fan of mayonnaise, but thank you for the suggestion. If the egg whites are being stubborn and like not falling in, you can like use the other eggshell to like kind of slice the egg white so it falls. And these are also large eggs.
Hollandaise sauce and eggs.
Hollandaise sauce is good, but I'm not making eggs Benedict anytime soon. Oh yeah, French toast.
Make some scrambled eggs with pepper and onions. There's lots of
Yeah, but I also don't really like scrambled eggs either. All right, last egg.
like to bake, or you just use for the ice cream. I mean, I will never say no to ice cream. I do love myself some ice cream, but I don't really bake that much. Oh, so I don't really bake that much, but I do love myself some ice cream. And I do love get Alaska. So
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, now that we have all the egg whites in the bowl, we add a pinch of cream of tartar. And cream of tartar is not actually cream, it's a powder. I was very surprised to learn this. And also, I've never really had to use this except for like snickerdoodles. I don't know, like I was only ever this meringue and snickerdoodles only up 2 times I've used cream of tartar. But anyway, just a pinch.
Amy, can you drag the bowl back just a little bit?
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
So Taylor says it would have been easier if you had separated those eggs before you had started because they better at good temperature.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that though. So cream of tartar and then a cup of sugar. I mean, it's close. Yeah, a pinch. And we're actually going to add the sugar while we're mixing it. So, and I'm going to use an electric mixer because whisking it by hand takes way too long. It's also very painful.
Yeah, we did this once before without an electric mixer, and it took like around 20-30 minutes, right?
Yeah, 30 minutes doing it by hand, and my forearms are very sore.
Yeah. The whites should beat a little bit before the sugar's added a little time.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to turn on the mixer, and Ryan's going to add the sugar as I mix it.
If you whisk it by hand, use a larger whisk and wider bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it takes a while.
Don't touch the button. Okay. That was my bad. Yep.
About how long do you think this is going to take?
Just a few minutes. Almost there.
So while we're waiting for the meringue to get where it needs to be, Eamon has done, this is his fourth video for us, fourth demo. He's done a Yule time log, a pig picking cake, or I should say pig picking cupcakes, and a trifle. They're all on our Atlantic Institute SC YouTube video. There is over 200 videos out there, not all cooking ones. There's cooking, we have cultural crafts, and we also have interfaith and educational videos out there that is free to look at and use. We advise teachers to use in teaching places if they need to. And we have a program we call Life Skills for Teens. And those videos are out there as well. We just had one of those today on how to use a credit card appropriately. So yes, check out our Atlantic Institute YouTube channel. If you like the channel, I believe when we upload new videos, it'll let you know. We also are, most of our events are advertised on Eventbrite, and you can sign up for those. And even if it's sold out, you get on the waiting list and I will send you the Zoom link anyways. So please check all that out. And how we doing, Eamon? He probably can't hear me over the whisk. Yes, I believe he turned the sound off so that didn't have to hear the whisking, because I don't know about you, but mine is kind of loud. So he probably had turned that off.
What's up?
We're just waiting for you to get done for the next part. We know that
Uh,
that's kind of loud with the whisk, so
uh, uh, do you prefer I keep the sound off? Would you prefer if I kept the sound off for this part?
actually we couldn't hear. It is your choice, but we couldn't hear you anyways. So
Okay.
Um, so while we're waiting, we are also looking for one more instructor for 2024. I have all the dates filled but one. It's in September. So if you know of anybody who would like to do this, just let me know. And we can get them booked for showing a demo. All of our instructors are volunteers that want to help and share their knowledge with the people in the world. So part of our vision of a peaceful world and just showing what they know and all of that. So yes, thank you everybody. I agree. Like you could see where it was just the egg whites and then liquid, and now you can see that it's building in volume. And that it takes a little while so that 5 minutes in you don't have what it is you're looking for because it does take a while. So I agree, PL. I think I could do this now too. I'm thinking about maybe doing one for Thanksgiving or even the Christmas holidays. It did sound intimidating before. We'll ask him his favorite chef after he's done whisking, because I'm not sure he can hear us with the whisk going. Oh, yes. Thank
Yeah,
you
so
for
this is his mom here. Yeah, Eamon's very much inspired by the Great British Baking Show, and Mary Berry, who was on it was one of the chef judges on the British Baking Show. He would get her cookbook, and so he would watch that, and he even used to watch like episodes of like Martha Stewart and even like the old Julia Child things that would come on like on Saturday mornings. And even as a little kid, I mean, a little kid, like 6, 7, and I would find him taking notes on on the recipes that they were making. And I'm thinking, like, I guess he might get some of that from my husband, but I'm really not much of a well, my mom bakes, and she taught me to bake, but cooking and baking is not really my thing. So Eamon did kind of pick that up, I guess, from his Mima, who's right here with me, and from his dad, and then the different baking shows and things that he would watch. I do have to say, I admire Eamon for being able to do this or even attempting to do this in the kitchen of his dorm because like I know some of you all were saying in the chat before, um my dorm and a lot of other people's, the kitchens were, you almost would be afraid to go in there. They were so gross and definitely would not have attempted something like baked Alaska in them.
All right, so I think I added a bit too much cream of tartar. It's not very warming up very well. I'm still gonna uh, I'm gonna pour it onto the baked Alaska and see what happens.
Yeah, mistakes just kind of happen occasionally. You just have to accept the fact that sometimes your uh, your meringue is not going to meringue as it is, and you just move on.
Yeah. All right, so the last part, you're gonna get a baking sheet. You're gonna get some parchment paper. You're just gonna lay the parchment paper on top of the baking sheet. All right, so you're gonna take the baked Alaska that you made before out of the freezer. You're gonna take the aluminum foil off. This is the one that I made last night. And so basically all you're gonna do is you're gonna flip it over onto the baking sheet and just like hit the top of it a lot so it falls out. Ta-da! And you just take the plastic wrap off. This one actually came out easier than the first one. So as you can see, it's looking very nice. and I forgot to mention this earlier. You're gonna set your oven. Well, I'm going to use the oven to brown the meringue because they do not allow blowtorches into dorm kitchens. So if you use an oven, set it to broil or about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. I do not know what that is in Celsius. Sure. And well, let's see. I'm going to, temperature is 550 degrees, or 500, yeah. About 250 Celsius, according to Ryan. I'm going to pour this on top. It probably won't stay very well, but oh well. And normally you just kind of spoon it on and then just kind of like shape it over the top with like a spoon or a spatula or something. It's actually staying on pretty well. I think the coldness of the ice cream is kind of congealing it a bit. Yeah. So yeah, the I mean, if it had became like more stiff peaks, it would be kind of spiky looking. But the oven is taking kind of a while to preheat. But I'm probably gonna have to pour some more on right before I put it in the oven because it is starting to kind of drip down the sides. Yeah, I'll just put it in the freezer for right now.
Hey, Eamon, you got a couple questions here, dude.
Uh, if you use the blowtorch, you would not put it in the oven. You would just like very lightly have the blowtorch kind of like not, yeah, very close to the meringue, but like honestly, I haven't used a blowtorch before. I'm just kind of guessing based on what I know. Uh, Bake time, I'll get to that in a second. But blowtorch, you just kind of apply heat until the edges start to turn brown, like a very nice golden brown. Bake time, it's basically there's no specific bake time because you're going to be constantly watching it while it's in the oven, so it does not like burn because it's going to turn brown pretty quickly. I'm afraid we're only about 200 or halfway to 500 degrees right now. The other ones I've made, the one I made a few weeks ago, uh, I did not use an electric mixer. I hand mixed that one, but I mean that took forever. But it was definitely spiky, like stiff peaks, like it's supposed to be. It did not like it stayed on the cake, and then yeah, I just put it in the oven at 500, and I kept my eye on it It took about a minute to brown all the way. But once you have it out of the oven, it'd be best to keep it in the freezer for a few more hours, just so it doesn't like melt. And then but before you serve it, let it thaw a bit, or else it'd be really hard to cut through, especially the pound cake at the bottom. And then one I made last night, I didn't put any meringue on that one. Because well, the one I made last night is the one that I put the meringue on, and then the one I just made, I'm not going to put any meringue on because I don't really feel like it.
That's as good a reason as any, man, honestly.
Yeah. And also, if you have like a stiff meringue, you usually use like the back of the spoon to make the cool swirly peaks and all that. And it still is very pretty without meringue, but you'll see like the different patterns when you cut into it and you cut a slice out. It still looks very nice. Structural issues, well, if the two layers, like if the second layer of chocolate ice cream doesn't like cohere to the wafers, it'll come out in parts when you try to flip it over, which is what happened the last time I did that. But like it still worked out all right. The two layers were slightly off center to each other, but not too much to really affect anything. Yeah, it is definitely better than pumpkin pie. Other structural issues, just in meringue in general, it even if it's like how it's supposed to be, it still might kind of slide off until you put it in the oven because it's still technically a liquid. And then other structural issues, mainly just melting ice cream. It might collapse if you're not fast enough. The oven's currently at 320 degrees. We're probably gonna go to 500 because it's not 500. We'll start at 500. We'll just keep going up. The one that I made today, sure. Yeah, I can show what the inside looks like. I just need to go get it back from the freezer.
So, while we're waiting for the ice cream to arrive, Eamon, what are some other things you like to bake, and especially in the dorm?
Last thing I made before this was snickerdoodle cookies. That again I mean, it was fine, but like I didn't have an electric mixer at the time, and trying to mix the butter in is very difficult without that.
So what kind of cookies were that again?
Snickerdoodle.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you made oatmeal cookies. I was about to be very upset with you that you didn't bring any for me. So cool.
And they were his grandmother's snickerdoodle recipe.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, I think you're doing fine, dude. I mean, just it's this is the nature of baking in real time. Sometimes there's gonna be some lag time. Don't let it sway you, man.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, and of course, being in a dorm with having your things all spread out, like not having your own kitchen that you can put things in and know where they
Yeah.
are and have your things, your utensils and various things, right next to you. You've always got to like be taking them from your room down to the kitchen and stuff.
So the
Yeah,
real question is,
especially
go
sharing
ahead, go
the
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
especially just sharing like the fridge and freezer with all the other people in the dorm.
I'm honestly surprised you don't have more people in there waiting on you, dude.
Oh, it's currently game day, so
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a game today, isn't there?
it's actually the final game day.
Ah, well, that explains why a lot of people are here.
All right. Uh,
Yeah, Elizabeth, you're not wrong. The regs should be at room temperature, with everything being equal. But once again, school dorm doesn't have a lot of area just to leave eggs out in the open. So
okay. All right. So this one's still a bit melty because I wasn't in the freezer for very long. Uh,
it's good though.
yeah. And unfortunately, I only have access to a butter knife, so it might take a while to cut. But let's see. It's actually pretty easy to cut through because, yeah, it's still kind of, it's not frozen. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it very well. Like, uh, I mean, kind of. You can see like different kind of colors in there, different pattern. Uh, whoops. I'm probably just gonna put this back in the bowl because it's not gonna stay up very much longer.
Right. Don't forget you had cooking spray in the bowl, so
Yeah.
wrap it again.
almost to 500 degrees with the oven now. About 478 right now. So I'll probably put it in soon. I'm not sure how to put this back into the bowl. I'm just gonna do something like this.
Hand on top
Yeah.
of the bowl and then flip the pan, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a mess regardless. Just go for it, dude. One
Hold on a
hand on
second.
top of the bowl. There you go. Flip and go. There you go. Over the sink. Smart move.
All right, pretty good.
Solid, man.
All right, the oven is at 500 degrees.
Rock on.
So I'm just gonna throw it in the oven. I'm going to stare at it until it turns brown. And you should probably have the oven rack kind of low, so it's like all the heat's like going to all the parts evenly.
Can you turn the camera so we can see the oven?
There's an idea.
Oh,
Nice.
You kind of, I don't know if you see it really well with the camera, but it's already starting to kind of like stiffen up. You can see kind of like a shine on it. Okay, never mind. It is melting.
I have to agree with you, Caitlin. It does seem very wrong to cook ice cream.
Okay, unfortunately, I was not able to brown the meringue because like it was literally melting down the sides of the cake, and if I kept it in there too long, the whole thing would have melted. But you can see an example of what it's supposed to look like in the Miss Ludwig's background.
Eamon, for some reason your voice is cutting out.
I was just saying that the meringue started to melt down the sides of the cake, And so if I kept it in there any longer, the whole thing would have melted. But you can see an example of what the meringue is supposed to look like in the Slugwood's background. But that's pretty much all I have. If you have any questions.
So what he's saying is, if you hear, I'm going to spotlight myself, the meringue should look like this behind me. Like, there, you can see the cake. That's what it should come to look out like, because it'll be stiff in peaks, and then you brown it. A torch is probably better, because you're just heating the outside and not the whole oven.
Definitely.
But yes, Eamon, thank you. This was awesome. Does anybody have any more questions? Yes, thickness of the layer maybe seems key. This here seems to be quite thick. Even though it is bigger than my head. Does anybody have any more questions?
I would just add, as you know, Eamon's dad here. I would just add that, yeah, pinch of tartar is seriously just a tiny pinch. You don't need a whole lot. It will actually break the egg whites. I mean, that's just a mistake that happened. That's not a big deal. And yeah, just whip the crap out of it until you get this firm peaks on it, and you should be good to go.
I've been watching the holiday baking championship and the Halloween, and I saw a lot of bakers who were home bakers and professional bakers who were making meringues, and we just start over because they just didn't whip for whatever reason, and they're professionals. So
Exactly. Sometimes your meringue just does not meringue.
it just
That's
does
just
not
life.
meringue. A lot of times when they were using the boxed egg whites, is when that happened. I know somebody mentioned that, but that was a lot when it happened for whatever reason. I noticed on those shows, but yes, the meringue. I applaud you, Eamon, for trying to make that. It looks to be one of the harder things to do, even though it's relatively easy, 3 ingredients and whipping it. It's just a temperamental thing. So I want to applaud you for doing it. And Ryan, I hope you enjoy.
Right. Yeah, Eamon responded with, I believe any blowtorch would work, but yeah, I think, yeah, he's right. As one specifically for, but you can use a regular blowtorch. Back in the day, I used to actually work in many restaurants till I realized I didn't like cooking for people. My chef used a regular blowtorch all the time. Just control the no, yeah, like the little canister ones. They don't have to be like the full welding blow torches or anything. That would be a little bit cumbersome. But you can have like the canister ones; those will work. Yeah, just regular heat well, because they, obviously they kind of blow at a little bit higher speed heat, and they will scorch everything. So if you have one, you know how to use it. Yeah, you should be fine.
But they have now kitchen ones that are tiny and don't seem to be as intense, and
Exactly.
so yeah.
Anyway,
Cooking is and baking is a miraculous thing, and the things they come up with and do nowadays. So I want to thank Eamon and his family. Thank you very much. And Ryan, thank you. We are done for the day. Unless anybody has any questions, I am going to stop the recording. And you all have a great Saturday.